were charged on the 13th of August. I opened my door to find two police officers with a search warrant. That was a traumatizing situation that I'd never dealt with in my life before. Fatima Zainab is very, very passionate about social justice. She strongly believes that none of us are free until all of us are free. We prayed together, we cried. She was feeling really, really distressed and very helpless that she wasn't able to do anything.
Do you feel that, you felt you were upset at her with when, you found out what happened?
You really dug deep, Zainab. I wasn't prepared for so much of that, but
Welcome to another episode of TMJ News Podcast. Today we have a special guest. Sukaina Rajwani is the mother of one of the Filton 10 activists, Fatima Zainab Rajwani, who was imprisoned in August this year for her participation in direct action against Elbit systems. Welcome to TMJ News, Sukaina. It's a pleasure having you here.
thank you so much for having me, Zainab. I really am honored to be on your show tonight.
Not long ago, TMJ News did an exclusive story on the Filton 10, and this video went viral. A lot of people couldn't believe that something like this could actually happen. Can you walk me through this day? What happened on the day of the arrest?
It was the 6th of August, Tuesday, the 6th of August. And that's one day after Fatima Zainab's 20th birthday that we found out that she's been arrested. Apparently, Fatima Zainab and 5 others were arrested in Bristol during the early hours of Tuesday morning. This was in connection with a direct action against Elbit. Elbit is an Israel arms manufacturer. They're the largest weapons supplier to the Israeli army, and their operations in Gaza in present day genocide that's happening, as well as Lebanon now.
The trial date has been set for November 2025. That's a year from now. Is this true? Has this really been extended that long?
So the last hearing that we had for Fatima Zainab and the rest of them, it was a preparatory hearing. We were given the date of November 2025 that the trial would take place at Woolwich Crown Court, and it's expected to run for 8 to 10 weeks. The reason we were given for the trial being held in November 2025 is that it's the earliest date available due to the clog up in the British legal system. And to be honest, Zainab, this is quite concerning because if in their next bail appeal they're not granted bail, it would mean that Fatima Zainab and her co-defendants would be spending more than 15 months in prison on remand without being convicted, without being found guilty, and without even having stood trial. And this is really scary because we've had 2 attempts previously for bail, and in both occasions, Fatma Zainab has been denied bail in spite of meeting all bail conditions, and for her having no reason to skip bail or to abscond on bail conditions, and as well as putting down a hefty security to guarantee her bail.
The Resistance Kitchen recently wrote to the director of HMP about the maltreatment that Fatima Zainab has been going through. How does this make you feel? Can you tell us more about what she's actually experiencing right now in prison?
Just to start off with on that point, Fatma Zainab and her the 5 other women that were arrested along with her, they're all being held at Bronzefield Women's Prison. The conditions for all of them are undesirable. They all have a non-association order on them, so that means they're not allowed to be in the same space together at the same time. And because of this, all the services that the prison offers in terms of visits, in terms of the well-being activities that they offer, the gym, the library, any other activities that are available to the women that are held there at the prison, these are all rationed amongst the 6 women. that were arrested together along Fatima Zainab and her co-defendants. And this is quite distressing. It creates a really restrictive surrounding and environment for them. And just generally, medication has been withheld from a couple of the co-defendants. Zoe has been left on the induction wing for quite a few weeks before she was moved on. Maddie, one of the other co-defendants with Fatma Zainab, was labeled as an escape risk until literally today when she was taken off the escape risk list. And this was due to a lot of support from the community, a lot of support from the public that wrote lots of letters and made phone calls to the prison to protest for that. On top of that, letters haven't been reaching all of them. Very few letters have made their way through. So it seems like their post is also being restricted. In terms of Fatima Zainab, I am quite concerned of institutional Islamophobia within the system. I do feel that she's being discriminated against for, because she's visibly a Muslim, right? She's been subjected to random drug tests, even though there is no medical history or any history of drug abuse on her part. This is not in line with the prison policy, which suggests otherwise. And it seems like she's being targeted rather than randomly being picked on for drug tests. It's also been quite difficult to get religious resources across to her. Prison policy says that only authorized resellers are allowed to, we're only allowed to send books via authorized resellers. And also the physical copies that I took in to the prison, they've been confiscated. So it's been quite difficult to get these resources to her. One more point on her present situation at Bronzefield prison. So there are male security guards that check in on the inmates, and in Fatma Zainab's case, they've been checking in on her without knocking on her door, and this makes it challenging for her to sort of observe her hijab at that point. So these are some of the issues that we've been facing in terms of her present situation at Bronzefield.
The last time that you met with Fatima Zainab, how was she? How did you feel?
So obviously, Fatima Zainab has her ups and downs. I'm seeing her again on Friday. She is okay. She tries to keep herself busy and keep her mind busy. They have a set routine at the prison, which sort of helps them get into a schedule, if I may say so. And I think it's hard to say this, but she is getting used to the system there. She has books that keep her busy and occupy her. She absolutely loves reading. She's been reading quite a lot. She's asked me to send her lots of books. So that does keep her busy and takes up her time. She's recently, literally just on Monday, she's been able to join a crocheting activity at the prison. So she's learning a new skill. And that is also keeping her busy with what she's learning. And she's asked me to send in some materials for that as well. In terms of her Islamic activities, she used to go to Juma Salah. They had Juma Salah on Fridays, but then she just told me that the Muslim chaplain resigned last week. So since then, there hasn't been any more Juma Salah, and she's been missing that since last week. So, like I said, there's ups and downs when she's locked up in her cell. They're usually locked up for the night at around 6:30 ish, until the next morning at 8 o'clock. And I think that's the hardest time for her, when she's quite lonely and missing family, missing friends, especially on weekend. When we would all be getting together, and that's really getting to her and affecting her mental health and well-being as well.
How has this affected your mental health?
So it's been quite a journey, Zainab. Fatma Zainab, since her arrest, it's been It's been nearly 3 months now. It's been a challenging journey, if I may say so. I've experienced things I've never experienced in my life. The day after Fatima Zainab was arrested on Wednesday early morning, I opened my door to find two police officers with a search warrant. That was a traumatizing situation that I'd never dealt with in my life before. I've never, had police in my house before. That was quite distressing for me. And then after that, at the point when the six of them were held incommunicado and in solitary confinement for 6 days, this was extremely stressful and distressing for me. You can imagine the situation we were in at home, me, myself, Fatima Zainab's father, the rest of the family. We were left in limbo. We were extremely worried and anxious about her well-being and her treatment in the police station. Fatima Zainab was denied to make even a single phone call home to us. We didn't know how she was. First time I saw her after she was arrested, I saw her from far in the magistrate's court, right? I wasn't able to speak to her, I wasn't able to give her a hug. It was just a little wave from far, and I was really heartbroken.
You said you're missing her in family time, get-togethers. How do you spend your days nowadays, with her absence in your home?
She calls us, she calls me like 5 times a day, if I may say so. She calls me as soon as she wakes up. She calls me in the afternoon when they're locked up for the afternoon slot. She calls me in the evening. She calls me before she goes to sleep. So my life still does revolve around waiting for her calls and, speaking to her, making sure she's okay, making sure nothing out of the ordinary has happened. I look forward to her visits as well because of the whole NOA system, the NOA situation with the non-association order. Visits now are not as frequent as they were before. So, we have to make sure that we're available for the visits whenever we do get them. We really miss her at home. Things are difficult. Her little sister misses her as well. She's really close to Fatma Zainab. So it's been a roller coaster of a ride, Zainab. And, we're just hoping that things get better, and that her bail is approved the next time we apply for it. So fingers crossed for that.
What do you miss most about her?
So Fatima Zainab is a very loving person. After Masma goes to sleep, we would spend time together watching TV, pick a movie, sit down, watch TV or talk. She loves chatting. She talks my ears off. So yeah, I miss that a lot as well.
You spoke about the Terrorism Act. Do you feel that this has been exaggerated to the point where they're using activists and journalists and really using the Terrorism Act and abusing it in this way? Is it to make an example out of them? What was your initial thoughts about how they use this?
In the broader context of the ongoing genocide in Gaza, the Terrorism Act has been abused, if I may say so. So when they were charged on the 13th of August, Fatima Zainab and her co-defendants were not charged with any terrorism offenses, but they were charged with, and that just it goes to show the abuse of the counterterrorism powers by the state. To sort of deter, to intimidate the public. It has also been used in recent times against other activists, independent journalists like Richard Medhurst, and the journalist from Electronic Intifada, who was recently, his house was recently searched and his devices taken. So all this to suppress media coverage of the ongoing genocide.
How does it feel for you as a parent that your child, is being treated like a terrorist just for her activism work?
So I'll be very honest, Zainab. Fatima Zainab is very, very passionate about social justice. She strongly believes that none of us are free until all of us are free. And, Fatima Zainab's certainty in the truth of her stand against the genocide, it's really woken me up. I thought I was already aware of what's going on in the world, but she's really opened my eyes. She's made me more aware, um, and I can just say that she is an inspiration, Zainab. And in all of this, we should not forget the plight of the Palestinians. They continue to suffer every day. We need to raise awareness of their plight, of their suffering, as they're being bombed, starved, and burnt alive out of existence. So this is really important. We need to continue to hold our governments to account for their complicity in the ongoing genocide. We need to stop weapons supply to Israel, and this is what Fatima Zainab stands for. And I support her cause fully.
It seems as though her involvement with Palestine Action Against Elbit Systems didn't come out of nowhere. I understand from everything I've watched and heard you speak that, she took many steps in order to get to what happened here. Can you tell us more about, all the things that she tried before getting involved with direct action?
It's been a challenging journey for us the whole year. When the genocide started in October, Fatima Zainab really advocated for the rights of the Palestinians. We went on marches together and protests. She was part of her university Palestine Solidarity Group. She was part of the encampments at her university. Um, we prayed together, we cried. She was feeling really, really distressed and very helpless that she wasn't able to do anything. The images, the live stream genocide that we were watching on our screens every day, it, it was really distressing for all of us, and especially for Fatma Zainab. And I think it's at this point that she decided that she needs to do more. Um, and that's when I think the idea of direct action formed in her mind, and that's when she um, decided to take direct action.
Were you surprised by her involvement in this cause?
So it did come as a surprise to me. Like I said, it really shook her soul. To hear about her arrest, it was unexpected, and I don't know what to say to that, honestly. But yeah, it was a surprise. We did know that she, just at that point in time, she was just getting really sad and upset about the whole situation in the world, horrified at the images coming out of Gaza, and just feeling really, really helpless that she's not able to do anything, that, the government is not doing anything. We're shouting, we're going to protests like literally every other week. Our voices are not being heard. I can understand where you know, why she decided what she decided. But nonetheless, it was a surprise for us to find out that, she did what she did and that she's been arrested and still in prison right now.
Do you feel that, you felt you were upset at her when you found out what happened? Did it take you a while to get to where you are today?
Um, that's an interesting question, Zainab. I would not say I was upset at her, because I do feel, you know, I do feel pride in the fact that she has stood up for what she believes is right. And it takes a brave and a courageous person to be able to do that. And I do admire, her strength and her courage in the face of oppression. You know, that's what I can say. Obviously, it's taken time to process what's happened and to be able to be in the right frame of mind to be able to deal with everything, to process my own emotions, and the family as well. It's taken us a while. And even right now, I can say that when Fatima Zainab's okay, I'm okay. But, if she calls in feeling upset and down because of something or the other that's happened, then that's going to affect how I feel as well. But I need to be strong for her as well, and give her that strength so that she's able to hang on in there and be her.
What is your worst fear as a mother while she continues to stay in prison?
So I guess what I'm most worried about is her sort of, feeling depressed or feeling that we've forgotten her, or feeling that, we've moved on, because that's not the case. She needs to know that we're here for her, that, we're on her side, we're standing with her, and that's important for her to know.
After witnessing everything that's happened to your daughter and the rest of the Filton 10, what is your message to the UK government and the authorities?
So I would say that we should all uphold international law. It is a duty on each and every one of us to uphold international law, and that is a priority, um, as a government, as individuals, and as a community.
What message would you have for the people of Gaza?
I would, I would just say that I am extremely ashamed. I feel really helpless that I'm not able to do more. I feel like we failed them. Um, and honestly, I'm humbled at their perseverance, at their faith, and their resilience. And I would just say that hang on in there. The sun will rise, Palestine will be free.
Has Fatima ever shared with you her thoughts about what she'd like others to know about in the times that you've spoken to her?
Whilst in prison, she did write a poem that she asked me to share with the media. So this poem is for the people of Gaza, and it goes like this. In the poem, she says, "To the people of Gaza, I write to you in my state of love and grief. At night, I dream of a love so wide and so deep it frees us all. It stretches across continents to fill the space between my brown body and yours. I wish the love I dream of was enough. I wish the love I dream of would hold your grief the same way that our silence holds violence. When there's nothing else to write about, I write about love, because there is no life worth living, no strength worth perception if not for love. The kind of love that forces you to witness, the kind of love that does not stay silent, love that is not patient or kind, but relentless and harsh. I dream of a love so encompassing it hurts, a love that does not make us less afraid, but a love that makes us less compromising. At night, I dream of a love so wide and so deep it frees us all. When dawn breaks, I dream of waking up to a love that is not new, but old and ancient and unforgiving. The type of love that stands to action. There is no greater act of love than standing uncompromising between all which you know and that destroys, and all which could be rebuilt anew.
If Fatima was here with you right now, what would you want to tell her about everything that's happened?
I would just want to tell her that I love her.
You've been very active in talking about her story. Is this something that you ever saw yourself doing in terms of activism? Sharing her story, doing interviews.
So for whoever knows me, they know that I'm a really private person. This is completely out of my comfort zone. I hate the camera. I hate going in front of public. And so this is in itself a battle for me, that to go out there, to be able to advocate and to be able to campaign for Fatima Zainab. But I do feel that she needs it, she deserves it. The Filton 10 deserve it. They need their story to be heard. They need the world to know what they did and why they did what they did. Um, and and at this point in time, everything else becomes it becomes irrelevant, and just need to do what we need to do.
Have you found comfort with the other moves, the parents of the other children?
So yes, it's been nice to be able to connect with the relatives and the family of other loved ones. I met them at the preparatory hearing that was held for all of the Filton 10. So it has been the community, the support, the strength, that we were able to share, the bonds that we made on that day. I did meet the loved ones of the rest of the Filton 10 when we went in to the magistrate court for their preparatory hearing, and it's been an experience to be able to connect. It's a unique bond that we share, and that we're able to sort of talk and share, and have that connection. We've put together a petition for the attention of the Attorney General and the Justice Secretary within the UK to stop the use of counterterrorism powers against pro-Palestine activists. It would be really, really appreciated if the viewers, if all of you were able to support us by signing this petition. We already have 22,000 plus signatures on this petition. It does help us put pressure on the government. It does help us get media attention. And so each and every signature counts. Also, on top of that, we've got hearings coming up. We've got a plea hearing for the Filton 10 that's in January. And being able to support us by attending the Filton 10's hearings and their trial next year will go a long way in showing support for the pro-Palestine activists as well.
And in terms of her hearing, when is the next date for the hearing?
So the next date for them to be present in court for the hearing is 17th of January. That's when their plea hearing will take place.
How are you coping with all this? It's a lot.
Honestly, it's a difficult situation, but Alhamdulillah, we have trust and faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, inshallah, He plans, we plan, and He is the best of planners. So we have faith in His plans, and inshallah, we will see Fatima Zainab free and Palestine free.
Has this ordeal brought you closer to God?
I'd like to think so. I would like to think so, definitely. I'm already a practicing Muslim, but I do feel that I've been able to talk to my Lord. I've been able to share with Him and have that satisfaction in my heart that He's listening. And I tell the same to Fatima Zainab that, whenever there's times that you're feeling lonely, you're locked up in the cell, you're alone, remember that you're not alone. Your Lord is with you. Talk to Him. He's listening to you. He's closer to you than your jugular vein. So, make the most of the opportunity you have.
Thank you so much, Sukaina, for sharing your story with TMJ and its viewers. And we are going to continue to follow this story closely. This is something that TMJ has taken up in terms of really covering this holistically, and we hope to share more with our viewers.